Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Chris Legaspi. Thank you for joining me today. Today, my friends, we are going to continue our master's project, and we're going to do a head study exercise. We're going to do an exercise that will help you turn the head. So this is a very, very important skill if you want to do realistic portrait drawing. You know, you want to be able to draw the head in any angle, any position, with accuracy, with naturalism, with realism, with beautiful proportions. So that's what we're going to do today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of powerful exercises, very simple and fun exercises. And we're going to use this beautiful masterwork by this Italian painter Giacomo Grosso here. And we're going to study the head in this painting, and then we're going to break down a couple ways that you can improve your head turning skills. So maybe if you're struggling to make your portraits look real, if you're struggling to make your portraits feel 3D, maybe you're can only draw front view and you want to be able to draw 3/4, the side, or maybe you want to be able to draw your faces looking up or looking down. Very difficult. So if you are, I'm going to help you out today. So make sure to watch to the end, because I'm going to show you another simple way too that you can continue to practice and improve this skill on your own. And if you're new to me, my name is Chris Legaspi. I'm a professional artist, author, and anime instructor. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, so we're going to continue with the master's project, and that's a little monthly project that I do in my patron community. So if you want to support my work, you can click the link somewhere and check that out. And this month's project is La Femme by Giacomo Grosso, an Italian 19th century painter. In previous videos, I did a figure construction exercise and also an analysis of beauty, of composition. So definitely check those out. And as you can see, this is a gorgeous work of portraiture, high society portraiture, and this painting is quite large. It's almost life-size, almost, and the head is perfectly straight. And forgive me, this is the highest resolution I could find, but the head is perfectly straight, so it's a bit of a challenge. And I'll admit, when I teach my head drawing courses and classes and things, I typically choose models and subjects that have more lean, angular faces. You know, I call it the Loomis man, the Lion Decker arrow collar man, idealized. Basically, you look like a male model, female model, like chiseled, boxy faces, kind of like mine, you know, but more lean. So typically those are the best for learning head drawing. This model obviously has more round face, bit of a chubby face. So there's less, and with that you just won't be able to see planes that clearly, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But in a way it's good, because it will improve your skill of imagination and perception. Because part of being a good realist artist, you want to draw realistic portraits better, you need to know what you're looking. You need to know your subject, so you need to understand what goes on beneath the skin. So you do need some knowledge to be able to draw at the highest levels. So in this video, I'm going to help you out there too. So let's begin first by analyzing this image. I'll show you what I see so that you can also improve your skill of being able to see the important anatomy and structures underneath the skin. All right, we're going to begin the head turning, head construction exercise. We're going to do 3 different exercises in this video. What I'm going to do is first, we're going to analyze what we see. We're going to analyze the model here, analyze the portrait. Then we're going to turn left, turn to the side, really important skill. And then we're going to do the, really the most difficult of all head turns is looking up and down. Actually, the most difficult is 3/4 up, 3/4 down. But I'm going to help you out with there. So make sure to watch to the end so you can see a way where you can help with even that, the most difficult position. Okay, let's begin with exercise number 1, which is to analyze the portrait. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of walk you through what I see, the important structures that we need to be able to turn the head, which will be the next progression. So beautiful painting here. And forgive me, this is the highest resolution I could find. It's a bit grainy, I know. Gosh, I wish I could see this in person. The original painting. Okay, we need guidelines first. So forgive me, iPad enthusiast here. You know, I know I look 27, but I was born before iPads and Photoshop, believe it or not. So you know, I'm a bit old school, but this is more clear on a live stream to do it on an iPad here. So I'm going to try to make some guidelines here. Forgive me. And let's make them bluey. Make them blue-green. Okay. So I'm going to make some guidelines here first. And the major one we need, obviously, is the skull. So we're going to ignore the hair for now. Top of the skull, bottom of the skull, which is her chin, which we can see. Top of the skull, we'll have to imagine. I'll help you out with that. And then the major structures next, brow line, the nose line, obviously. Center of the eyes, obviously, is key. And the center of the mouth. And then I'm also going to show you a pro tip for those of you who are new to head drawing. I'll show you a super pro tip of how we can really make beautiful head turns, or draw the head in any angle with accuracy. So, and I'll reveal that in a minute. Let's start with what's obvious. Brow, nose, bottom of the chin. Then I'll help you out with the top of the head. Hee. Oh, I gotta turn this snapping off for a minute here. Just watch a old man iPadding. All right. Now, if you're new to head drawing, you might be wondering, oh, Chris, how do I see the top of the head? The hair's in the way. What do I do? It's pretty simple, especially in this view. We just have to put clues together. So what do we see? What do we have? What does the model give us? Well, we can clearly see this part, right? It's basically her cheekbone, side of her brow, basically the side of her temple. So that's basically the side of your skull. So we just go follow that up. That's it. We just have to use our imagination a little bit, and we know the skull will curve. So do your best to make it curve. And that's an ugly curve. Oh, this curve is so ugly. Do is my sketchy curve. This other one's kind of ugly too. Okay, so now where is the top? Now, we can clearly see the point of her head, but we don't want to fall for that, because if you look at probably your own hair, if you look in the mirror, your hairline is nowhere, it's not even close to the top of your head, most likely, unless your hair is receding like mine. So hopefully if you're watching, it's not. So we have to give it some more space. So basically, and you just got to give your best guess. That's it. You got to give your best guess. And I'm just going to guess that mine is there. Give it a little bit of space. And then if we follow the gesture from the side, and then take our best guess right there, follow gesture from the side, from our best guess, take our gesture down. And that should be it. And then one way you could also prove and find the jawbone, because this will be an important landmark, is now we can look at this little egg I drew and go, huh, is that pretty good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Is it kind of quote unquote naturalistic? Is it real? Does it feel like a real skull shape? It's pretty good. Obviously, if you've never drawn a bunch of skulls or looked at one or held one, it may be difficult. But most people look at themselves in the mirror and kind of get a sense of if it's too long or too wide. In this case, it's fine. It's pretty good. It's good enough to move on. And basically, that's what we needed right there. Top of the skull. And like I said, one more, which is the bottom of the jaw, which will help a little bit. And it's right below, it's between the, obviously it's between your mouth and your chin line. The chin line we can see, the center of her mouth we can see. So I'm taking my best guess, but I do see a curve. You see that kind of drew it in pink? I do see a curve there, so that's important. I'm just gonna drop it there. It's good enough for now, and we could always adjust our drawing, but I do see a clear bend in her jaw. Even though she has a chubby face, she has a lot of fat on her jaw. I can see it and I can feel it. So it's good right there. Okay. Perfect. Okay, we got our guidelines. Now I'm going to do analyze the major structures. And really the guidelines are going to be most important when we turn the head. But this will help us also to help us find these major structures. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw the major structures that we see. So we already drew the skull. So I'm going to redraw the skull. The outer shape is really important. And I feel confident about the jawline that I just drew. We can clearly see her chin, even though there's a lot of fat on her jaw. We can clearly see the skin. I want to make sure that my line is much prettier than that. That is hideous. One of the most important skills when drawing is to be mindful of the mirroring. One side has to match, relate to the other side. I see that a lot in students' work. So we got the top of the head. Okay, so that's basically, oh, forgive me there. So that's basically the top of her skull, outer shape of her skull. Now I'm going to try to construct the sockets and also the side plane of the cheek, and then obviously the nose and the mouth. Nose and the mouth are easy, we can see that. So the socket obviously is the eye socket, also known as the zygomaticus kind of structure, orbital structure of your skull. It's the hole in your skull where your eyeballs go. So we'll just kind of ghost that there. I'm going to draw a center line through the socket here, which will give me just kind of a gauge as to the eyes. We can clearly see her eyes there. They're not super important. So the bottom of the nose is helpful. It's clear. I'm going to bring a line from the tear duct down to the side of the nostril, which is clear, and do a little basic nose construction. There's a nice rhythm from the center of the eye down to the mouth, which is obvious here. Now, I want to identify the side plane as best as I can. What we can see is the cheek as it's turning. We can see a little bit of the cheek turning downwards, and on the right cheek we can see a little bit. If you look on the original painting here, this is what I see. You see that little, there's a highlight there, and then there's a corner. Forgive me for the resolution, but that is basically bone. Boop, 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 boop. That is basically bone. And then we follow that. I make a note of that bone, make it on the other side too, make sure they're kind of mirrored. And then what we want to follow And then it's also in the original, the zygomaticus muscles as it leads down into the modialis. It's a new word I learned, which is the corner of your mouth. It's called the modialis. A bunch of stuff connects there. Then we just take that down to the corner of the chin in the natural rhythm. We don't have to be super accurate here. Don't have to be super accurate. This is just a rough guess, my best guess at the side plane, which we're going to need when we turn. So now I'm just quickly glancing at my little analysis to make sure it's mirrored. Next, we go the side plane here, right here, side plane of the temple from the eyeball. And it's kind of easy. We can see the corner of the eye because I'm basically following her hair to the best of my ability. And you can see a little bit of detail on the model here, on the original. Even though it's low resolution, I could see where the artist defined the side plane. So that is good enough for me to start. And the side plane isn't straight. What it does is it curves up and then up and back. So we have to draw into Z space. So this is great exercise. And then we mirror it on the other side because there's a perfect orthographic front view. You can draw a little line if that's helpful. I just like to draw a center line here because it looks cool. Vertical center there. What I want to do also is just give myself the neck because I really I have a thing with drawing floating heads. To me, the neck is a part of the face. Okay, and then, so we got everything in front view. We got all the information that we can extract really out of this that we need to turn the head in the next progression. And there's one more clue. Are you ready? There's one more pro tip that I mentioned earlier, and that is the ear, my friend. So you're like, Chris, what are you talking about? What does the ear have to do with turning the head? Just be patient. You'll thank me later if you're new to head drawing. You're really going to need the ear to turn the head. So how do we find the ear? We can't see it. How do we imagine? What clues do we have to put together? Well, clue number one is typically the ear attaches to your skull, your face, your head, not the tip of the ear structure, but where your ear thing meets your face, your head. Where it attaches is typically lined up with the center of your eye. So this is not, there's variation, everybody, and also the variation of where you're looking at the model, where the model's moving, where the viewer is, where the artist is, where the camera is. Different lenses will change this measurement. But generally, your ear meets there. The top is comes up somewhere close to the brow line. So I'm not going to go all the way up. This is going to be obviously too weird. So I'm just going to find halfway. So I'm just taking my best guess and also trying to use my imagination to draw an ear that kind of makes sense for this face. Obviously, if I draw way up here, say, oh, Chris, I saw in a book, I saw in a YouTube video, they said the top of the ear is at the brow line. Oh, the Riley thing I saw, blah, 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 which is kind of true. It's true, and also there's nuance to that. But in this case, no, I don't need that. And then the ear connection typically is close to the bottom of your nose line. So I'm going to drop it there, and then your lobe obviously drops below the ear connection. So I have a little bit above the connection, a little bit below, and then I'm just going to draw a kind of a wedgy ear shape, which is like that. Kevin Chen calls it a lemon wedge, when you cut a lemon or slice of apple. And that's pretty close. It's pretty close to probably what her ears look like. They're more like mine. I made them stick out because I'm drawing myself here a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them come back in a little bit and suggest the top plane. You'll thank me later. There's a method to my madness here. This is all part of my head drawing thing. If you like my construction model so far, I wrote a book on this stuff. I wrote a figure drawing book called Life Drawing for Artists, published by Rockwell. It's in 5 or 6 languages now. And there's a chapter on basic head construction in my book. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good, my friends. I'm looking at the tracing. I'm like, wow, that looks pretty good. It's clean. It's tight. It's accurate. It's clear. When I look at this, it's clear, and we can prove it. Watch. Oops. I will prove to you it's clear. Oops. By doing this. You see, it's pretty clear. If we just continue the drawing, draw the eye, boom, 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 boom. You see? That's how I knew my analysis, my little tracing, my little study, my little breakdown here was pretty good. And you draw the hair, we're in pretty good shape. See? Pretty close. We're pretty close, and we got more than enough to move on to the next progression, which will be turning the head. Okay, exercise number 2. We're going to actually turn the head. So this is it, my friends. Are you ready? Are you ready? Don't be scared, because we're only going to turn left to right. We're going to do 3/4 and side. So it's sounds scary, but it's okay. You'll be okay. You got me. I'm going to help you out. Don't worry. Let's see what we can do here. Let's see what we can do. Let's do side view first. 3/4 first. Let's do 3/4. So what I'm going to do is just roughly kind of construct the thing, the shape of the skull. I'm going to use my imagination really basically right now. You can see the top, you can see the bottom, we can see the jawline. So remember, the jawline was important for us to get. And then I'm imagining the back. Obviously this is the back right here. So what I want to do now is imagine or place, define center line. And this will really help me to know how the degree of the turn. I'm going to try to, I guess, perfect 45 degrees on the y-axis, I guess, or x, whatever. And then give myself a little bit of the neck, because the neck kind of helps me a little bit, because the neck is a cylinder. So that neck, it'll just give me another piece of information, which is why I always encourage artists to, when they draw faces, to also draw the neck with your face. See, now it gives me another piece of information so I can compare. Well, okay, it looks pretty good. So obviously I've done this 1 or 2 times, so it went very quickly. If you're new, take your time here. Take your time. Don't be afraid to sketch. And I know you will ignore that. I say 9 out of 10 people, I say that to. They try to draw fast like me. They assume, if you're new to drawing, you assume, oh, I saw that guy in the video, Chris Legaspi, in his video in his course. He drew that in 20 seconds. I will only take 20 seconds. No, I drew it in 20 years, but it came out quickly because you weren't here for the 20 years. Okay. Anyway, take your time. Now we need the thing, because we can see the eye line. We can see the brow line. That's easy. What I need is to clearly define the back of the skull and the corner. So I'm just kind of lightly sketch that in and take my best guess. And are you ready? I'm going to help you. So we can see the jaw. I'm going to follow the rhythm from the jaw back, because really the skull, your cranium, this part is much bigger. It's actually the same from here to here. From here to here, I hope my head is in the camera right. From here to here is the same distance from here to here. So I have to imagine that it's actually further back. So that's a big mistake that beginners, especially beginners, make, is they don't give the face, the skull, enough cranium. So you gotta go back. So I'm going to follow that rhythm of the jawline that we can clearly see and establish to go a little bit further back. I'm just going to follow and draw a natural gesture up to the crown, which we can see. And that's my best guess as to the thickness of the depth of her skull in 3/4, okay? So you see, that makes a beautiful rhythm. And really, to me, if your rhythm curve is pretty, I know this is not technical. Some of you watching are kind of technical people. I appreciate you. You're like, oh, Chris, what's the degree? How many centimeters? So this is, what happened here? iPad's chugging. This is it's an optical sense that I've developed. So, meaning this curve that I just drew, this curve is pretty. And I'm like, it's pretty. It makes sense. It's clear. It's not ugly. And if you're new to drawing and you're new to aesthetics and beauty, you're going to need an expert. It's a skill. Seeing what a beautiful curve is, a natural, beautiful, harmonious curve, is a skill that you have to learn. I learned it by spending time with experts in beauty. great artist. Okay, so that's pretty. Now we can see the corner of the jaw, or I took my best guess at the width of her jaw. I'm looking at the model and go, how wide was her chin? How wide is her chin? That's a pretty good guess. This distance is pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is try to follow this from the chin. Remember this line here, right? This line here, the cheekbone line, the zygomatic is to the cheekbone. Remember why that was important. I'm going to try to take my best guess at that line. And I can even draw a thing over, draw a guideline over. You see, boom. So that's my best guess. And we're gonna keep going. I'm gonna put some clues together, because that's just a clue. What I really want is the major skull. So I can kind of see the top of the temporalis rhythm. That's what this is. This right here. It's the side plane that I originally drew earlier. So I'm just going to draw a ghost line over, and that line will follow down here to her chin. It kind of points to her chin. We can see the brow line. And this corner is my best guess at the corner of the eye. It's right here. It's my best guess. That will follow down. There's a bit of a top plane here. Now the ear comes into play. So the ear, remember I said the ear, where it attaches to your ear is roughly the eye line. So it's roughly in this zone, right? Now where is it? Left to right? Left to right, where is it? Where is it? It's at also exact center. So that's why the ear is such a perfect landmark. The ear, where the ear attaches, is not only the center of your face in front view, it's right here, but in side view, it's at the center of your skull. Whoop. And I got to credit Kevin Chen for that. Kevin Chen's the first one to teach me that. I was like, oh, that was a big breakthrough moment. So shout out Kevin Chen, Concept Design Academy. And to find that, so we got the peak of the skull, we got the corner of her jaw. If we follow the jawbone up, to the peak of the skull, draw a pretty curve. There's an intersection here that we piece together. Bam, 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 bam. That gives us the ear. And we can kind of ghost the ear, just, kind of ghost the bottom, the earlobe if we want, bring a guideline over, ghost it. And that's important because just it gives us some information. So now we can go, this is pretty cool. I have more information to gauge the shape of the face, which is what I need next, which is the bottom of the eye socket, which we established earlier. Doom, 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 doom. And I do that because now we basically roughly have a rough side plane. This is the most important corner, in my opinion, in all of realistic head drawing. In my opinion, this corner. And if you see it in my drawings, they're always super clear. I always emphasize it because it gives you that 3D pop is this corner. That's why I talk about it all the time. It sounds like a broken record. So we got that corner. We got a couple different clues. We got a couple different rhythms we can follow if we want. You're like, oh, kind of looks like that Riley rhythm thing. Yes, it is. So we'll bring eye line over. Eye line will give us the corner into the corner of the eye socket. Now I'm trying to make my best guess at the degree of this angle of the eye socket. Just take my best guess for now. We're going to put some clues together in a minute. I can kind of see the corner there. Kind of see the corner there. So now, we have to play. I can already tell we're going to have to play with some of this, the side contour. We're going to have to play with it. So actually, I'm going to erase it a little bit. My line's a little heavy. So I'm going to erase it a little bit. Let's see if I can do that. My line's a little heavy. I don't want to commit to it yet because I have a feeling we're going to nudge it. We're going to move it around. just erase the heaviness in my line a little bit. Okay, let's get back to work here. Oops. Because what I want to do is build, in order to get this corner right here, this corner right here, this corner that we need, that side contour, the right contour, we have to build the nose, or I'm going to build the nose. So we can see the bottom of the nose. I'm going to guess at the keystone shape right there. Keystone is this shape right here, where your brow line meets the nasal bone. And then I'm going to guess at the degree of her nose thingy, how far her nose goes out. Now, I'm going to, how far it goes out, it's my best guess. And luckily, obviously my guess is going to be accurate, but here's something also that will helpful. Obviously, you can look at the original and go, huh, her nose, her nasal bone, her nose is quite defined. So I'm assuming it has some volume to it. She probably has quite a substantial nose. And this painting was done in 19th century Italy, 1895, I believe. 1895 in Italy. The painter's name is Giacomo Grosso. So I'm assuming the model was Italian. And Italians, European people, have substantial nasal bridges compared to other ethnicities, obviously, like mine, for example. So that gives me justification to pop it out, to give it some volume, to give it some angle. So I'm going to give her nose some angle, right? Versus if you're drawing an Asian person like me, you'd probably give it a little bit less angle. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. So that's just me putting clues together to help me practice my construction, to help me get a more accurate construction. Putting clues together beyond what we see, also applying what we know. So obviously you need to know anatomy, but it's also good to know cultural, genetic, ethnic differences. Obviously it helps. And it's obvious, if you draw if you draw enough faces of different cultures, you'll say, oh, wow. Some cultures' noses every culture's nose look very different from each other if you think about it. There's nuances. So that gives me some assurance there. So because the side plane of her nose, I'm going to take my best guess. It's going to go there. I'm going to follow that. That will give me the ball, the eyeball. So I'm putting together the eyeball. Now I'm looking at the corner of the ball relative to the corner that I drew. So already I knew I have to nudge my corner a little bit. You see that? I have to nudge my corner a little bit, adjust it a little bit, because the ball, based on this bridge of the nose, it just doesn't feel right. I'm going to erase it now so you can see it. See that? This is cool. I know I'm drawing slow. You advanced people watching, you're like, oh my God, he's taking forever. But this is good because you get to hear my thought process in real time. I think it's important, because when I first learned this stuff, I didn't have YouTube. I know I look 27, but I was born before YouTube. So I actually had to go to a master artist. I had to go to their studio and learn from them in person. So you guys get to do this on a computer. It's awesome. So you see adjusting. Now, based on my first analysis, the front view orthographic analysis, now this 3/4 imagined construction looks a lot better, a lot more accurate. So we still got some nudging to do. And I'm going to make my lines a little bit less heavy. Just so I can keep going here. Look at that. So I'm constructing, I'm relying on my own construction model, which I learned from a bunch of great artists to refine this shape. I can look at this shape and go, it needs some refinement. Basically trying to draw her eye socket in this perfect angle, this perfect position. Trying to draw it perfectly in this position, accurately. All right, now that I have this eye socket, it gives me confidence to draw this eye socket with a little bit of confidence, and to draw the ball. Now this takes a lot of experience and a lot of mentorship. This is easy to screw up, so you're going to need to get feedback from somebody ahead of you, an expert, a teacher. Hopefully you have one in your life, because what I just drew in half a second is not easy to place the eye perfectly. You know, obviously you can do the thing, but you know, for me it's mostly optics. It's mostly optics, training my eye to understand what looks beautiful and harmonious, that placement of the eye, what makes sense, what reads, what is correct, what looks correct, optically correct. It's also part perception and illusion. So that gives me confidence that this corner feels pretty good. It's like, if it's off by a millimeter or so. It's okay. It's imagined. That's part of the exercise. You see, this is part of the exercise. So this gives me confidence to draw that line down. Now the mouth. There's something interesting which I didn't draw in my analysis, which is the muzzle rhythm. I'm going to draw this now on my front view. And that is a rhythm of all of this anatomy. It's basically anatomy, nasolabial fold. I forgot the name of the muscle. There's a bunch of muscles that lift your levator, labia, a bunch of stuff. Alicu is the longest muscle name in the body, I believe, is right here. So it's a rhythm that encompasses the massive anatomy that surrounds your mouth, that goes from basically your eye, your center of your face, nasal bone, around your mouth into the chin, and just moves your mouth up, down, and around. It's a massive muscles, okay? That's what that is. And why that's important is that's going to help me to draw the lips. And here's the interior muzzle rhythm. Sorry, and here's a chin rhythm. Sorry, I'm going through this quickly now because this video is going to take 3 hours now. So just follow along. And I got head drawing course. It's 8 weeks long. You can check it out somewhere in the description on my website. And it's in my book. It's in, I got about 5 trillion playlists, videos on this, and free videos on this. So I do that because I need the correct bulge of the mouth. The mouth isn't flat. It's basically a ball. So I constructed a ball based on anatomical rhythms, simplified anatomical rhythms, and actually the muzzle ball, which is the ball that sits here. So there's a rhythm that connects from the nose down to the chin, nasolabial rhythm for lack of a better name. And then there's the muzzle rhythm, which is it's your teeth. Your teeth combined with fat and skin and lips. There's a bunch of fat here, there's a bunch of skin and lips, there's a bunch of small little muscles too that move your lips around, fine muscles. And I do that, basically bring that eye rhythm down. And I do that basically to help me construct the lips, help me construct, I know it looks like a hot mess right now. So now my front construction feels pretty good. Now I know I need some depth in the back. So you see? Now I'm comparing the front to the back. I know it just feels a little bit off. I can anchor my ear a little bit more. I'm confident my jaw is quote unquote correct. The neck sternomastoid muscle has to connect to the neck correctly. So that means I might need to get my neck in a little bit of thickness, which I do. And I only draw the neck because it just gives me more information to compare. See that? So pretty. So pretty. And there we go, my friends. So that was rough. That was rough. That was that was a bit harder than I thought, because I wanted to explain everything in detail. So if you're new, you're going to have to. You're not going to watch this. You're not going to do it once and get it. If you're new, and forgive me for the experienced people, that took forever. But this is gold, my friends. This is gold. What you just saw is probably one of the most valuable skills. You know this. If you're learning portrait drawing, you know that drawing the head accurately is hard. You know you need a lot of practice. So what you just saw is a way to use a masterwork to practice this very important skill. And because this is not the most ideal model for the skill, she's got a bit of a chubby face, we had to also practice our imagination and practice referencing our mind, our knowledge base, to put the pieces together. So all of this is wonderful. It's wonderful. So that was powerful. Now let's do one more, which is turn it one more to perfect side view. And we're going to go through this a little bit quickly. This was hard because there's more margin for error because it's basically front and side at the same time. So there's little margin for error. There's lots of places we can make mistakes. So now on the side view, we have less margin for error. It's going to go fast. Let's do that now. Let's do side view next. Charge my pen here. Thank you for watching, those watching live. I wonder if I can expand. I think I can. Can't make it a color. Oh my goodness, it's been going an hour. Okay, my friends, so let's do the side view now. So this will go fairly quickly. Okay, jeez. So I'm going to go through this a bit quickly. This video's been really long right now. So what I want to do is basically approximate the shape of the skull. Now, you can see the top, we can see the bottom, we can see the jawline, and the jawline will help me kind of find the side. See that? Now remember, the top is roughly, the depth, how wide it is in this case, is about the same as how tall. So you can see I kind of drew it instinctually. So we can go a bit more deep. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. I'm going to put some clues together first and compare shapes. So I got my rough, sketchy side view shape, simplified shape, What I want to do now is find the center of this thing. There it is. So that gives me the side of the skull and then the cranium. So we can see the eye line, we can see the brow line. Let's bring the brow line down because that will help me to gauge how deep I'm going. So that's the brow socket, the thing, the brow line, the eyeball, the nose line, the bridge of the nose. You can kind of guess at the eye line here how much her nose goes out, and then I'm going to give mine a little bit of an angle here. The muzzle, the ball of her mouth pops out, remember? Chin also pops out a little bit. Chin stuff, bone, fat, tissue, lots of fine muscles there. Okay. So now I'm looking at this and I go, this distance needs to be adjusted. Let me get my eraser. You see that? I'm looking at what I just drew, and I could sense it's too much face. Because now I'm going to plot the ear, excuse me. Boom, 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 boom. So now the ear will give me confidence to do this. Down, down. Let me zoom in here. It might be, there it is. I'm sure that's helpful. Forgive me there. Center of the mouth. Basic mouth construction. Lip construction, excuse me. See, we're going through quickly here, and we have some room for error here. This. Okay, so I'm going to bring a guideline to my temple line, and that'll just give me the rough approximation of the temple, the height of the temple, the height of this curve, which will help give me a little shape to better judge the side plane, the top of her crown, because I desperately need to know where the center is. That's what I'm looking for. And then that feels pretty good, at least up close. This distance feels a little too deep, too much depth here, too much distance from the eye to the ear connection, but it's okay, we can play with that. As a construction, it works pretty well. The jawline we can see, corner of the jaw we can see, boom. See how pretty that looks? See how pretty that looks? Let's erase our original construction here. Jeez. Come on. Come on, Apple. Shit. Okay, I needed that jawline. Now I'm going to use the back of the neck to help me really refine the measurement of the skull. So watch this, there's a rhythm going down. Whoop, whoop. I learned that from Kevin Chen as well. The bulge of the Adam's apple of the neck, sternomastoid. I don't really need the neck, but what I do need is I can gauge the thickness of the neck now. and use it as a shape to compare the depth and overall size, the width in this case of the skull mass, the cranial mass. So I'm just using a bit of my anatomy knowledge here. I know the bone, the muscle attached there. There's spinal cord here, 7 cervical vertebrae, da da da. Sorry, I'm just kind of trying to go through this quickly. I know this video is already taking too long. I'm going to do this in 2 parts now. And that feels pretty good, my friends. That feels pretty good. Draw the muzzle, draw the muzzle. That feels pretty good as a construction. So obviously, it looks like a rough sketch. And we can clean it up, but as a construction, and let me clean up my lines here. Now, one final clue is to compare. One final check is to compare our imagined construction. We just imagined a head turn, compare it to the original model, and see if there's some comparison. Does it look feminine? Does it kind of look close to the model? It looks pretty close. You know, the 3/4 obviously needs some refinement. The side view feels pretty good. I'm looking at her face. I'm like, does it feel feminine enough? Does the nose pop out enough? Does her lips pop out? She has relatively small lips compared to the rest of her face. Is her chin the right shape, the right nature? As a construction, you know, it's really crude. It's boxy, it's angular, it looks masculine, obviously, because it's a boxy construction drawing. But overall, the essence, you know, the overall proportion, I think it's all there. Obviously, we can refine till the end of the moon. But that is great. So, well, let's take a look at that. So let's take a quick break here. Wow, so that, I think, is a good stopping point. That completes our side turn exercise from imagination, our analysis and our side turn. Wow, if this is your first time turning the head, congratulations. If yours looks pretty good, pat yourself on the back. This is a very difficult skill, especially 3/4, as you saw. It took so long to piece it together. And obviously, if it's your first time, you got to keep going. You can't do it once and say, oh, I got it. No, obviously, and obviously you're going to need somebody ahead of you. That's what I did. Those of you who are serious learners of this stuff, you're going to need help. Go find somebody ahead of you who can give you feedback. That's ideal. But this looks great. So this is a good stopping point for this video, my friends. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we're going to do the up and down turn, because this video is going to be 2 hours long. We're going to do the up and down turn. That's going to be brutal. That's going to be really important. We're going to do this exact same exercise. We're going to take our analysis and turn the head up and down. But we're going to do that in part 2, my friends. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care.